What's up everybody, Alex from Twin Gaming TV here. Today I'm going to be bringing you 7 new things and features you can expect from MLB The Show 17's revamped Road to the Show. And before I start, I just want to say that these are in no specific order. It was just kind of as I noticed them in the video. And these are all pretty much from GameSpot's new video, which I will link down in the description if you guys want to go check out that full thing. It's about a 15-minute long video, and then also an article from the PlayStation blog that will be linked in the description as well. Let's get right into it. Number 1, we have Pave Your Path. And this is a brand new thing in Road to the Show, and for Road to the Show, it's a foundation year. So it's kind of like what Diamond Dynasty was 3 years ago. It's the start of something, but it's not complete. Like this year, you can consider Diamond Dynasty more or less complete, but this is only the beginning for Road to the Show, and you can expect what their goal is for the Pave Your Path. 2 or 3 years down the road, you can expect the complete version of Pave Your Path. Now, what Pave Your Path does, it adds a non-linear experience with decisions and choices that alter your career, and then these different choices will take you down different roads or paths. To figure out what kind of decisions you should be making in your path and your road to the show, they talked to real-life minor leaguers and then also real-life MLB guys who had gone through the minor leagues and faced decisions like you're going to be facing in the game. They talked with Trey Turner, and he mentioned a real-life conversation that they had, and he was naturally a shortstop, but the Nationals were like, hey, we really need you at center field. If you can play center field for us, this is your chance to go to the bigs, to get a chance in the show. I know you're a shortstop normally, but we really need a center fielder right now, and we're okay at shortstop. And Trey Turner's like, yeah, I'm a team player, I'll do it. And so you're going to be able to have decisions like that through your Pave Your Path and your Road to the Show story that allow you to possibly get to the MLB faster or get to the MLB slower. It kind of depends on how flexible you are and how much of a team player you're willing to be. Now, we'll talk about this a little bit more in depth, but over at number 2, the second new thing we have is the social media feed, and this isn't a huge thing. It is brand new this year. You can add favorites and view favorites. They didn't talk about this too much really at all. They just mentioned that it was new in the video, but it looks like you might be able to grow your social media presence, so maybe get more fans or followers on Twitter, stuff like that. And it just kind of adds more realism to the game. There's a lot of social media stuff going on. It's a huge part of people's everyday lives, and I think this is just going to be another more realistic thing added to Road to the Show. Number 3, we have commentary from a narrator. So this narrator, it's a documentary style voice that will narrate the twists and turns as you're watching a baseball documentary unfold live before you. And I'll show you guys a few clips of this, but it's pretty much like the decisions are all set up by a narrator. So the narrator talks about, he kind of sets up the situation, explains what's going on, and then you have the choices you can make.
The manager addresses his team before their season opener. For many of these young men, it is their first game as a professional.
In the article, it said, to make the experience as realistic as possible, these interactions take place in settings never before seen in Road to the Show, like team locker rooms and managers' offices. We'll talk about this a little bit more, the kind of the settings you see throughout. But that's awesome. They're continuing to make Road to the Show more realistic. In the GameSpot video, the situation that happened first was they were talking about a minor leaguer. You are assigned to a new role. That's what the narrator says. And this kind of sets up number 4 that we're talking about today, which is decisions and conversations.
Minor leaguer is assigned temporarily to a new role.
So after this narration and kind of the little cutscene, you have 3 options. They're trying to move you to right field, and you're like, seriously? You could say, mind if I ask why? Or, okay, whatever you need. You're either like, wait, what's going on? You're kind of like, okay, I understand, but why? Or you're just like, yeah, whatever, anything to help the team. So then these conversations go on, the manager answers, and then you get more options to choose from. If you keep resisting, as you see in just a little bit, there's a possibility of getting benched. But then if you go with the flow, kind of like Trey Turner, it could be like a quicker path to the major leagues and to finally make the show.
This player with strong convictions finds out a team can have convictions too.
Now, there's no right or wrong choices with these. It's just like there's consequences to the decisions that you make. And in this case, it's you've been benched. And this leads to a call from an advisor. And the advisor pretty much just helps you resolve the issue. The team called them, explain what's going on, and it kind of gives you an opportunity to change your path from what you chose earlier. And so you can pretty much change the outcome of the decision, and the game kind of tries to steer you in what could be considered the right direction. So after you play a few games, about a month goes by, and the team ends up liking what they see from you at right field, and this leads to more decisions.
After trying this player out in a new role, his team likes what they've seen.
Now this is really where you see the lasting effects that these decisions can have on your career. The manager talks to you about how at the major league level, they need a right fielder. So like it would be huge for you to stay at right field, but you know, you can still, if your heart is set on third base, you can still stay and choose to be a third baseman.
The most direct road to the show is not always the one that was first envisioned.
But then, like, if you choose an option kind of like Trey Turner did, and you're like, okay, whatever will help my team win the championship, then you're now a right fielder, and that decision and those decisions that you made had a huge effect on your career, and you changed your position entirely. And that's just an example of the huge effects that these decisions and scenarios and cutscenes can have on your career. The fifth thing we have to talk about is a sports agent, and this is brand new to the game this year. They didn't talk about this too much as well, but the advisor that we saw a little bit earlier looks into helping you find an agent.
Receives a call from his former high school coach, who has assumed an advisory role until the player sees fit to take on a sports agent.
So you get an advisor, and he's kind of the guy who helps you with your decisions until they decide that you're fit for an agent, or until they find you an agent. So he's the one that helps you make your decisions, and with a lot of these decisions, you can make your own decision, and it's not considered right or wrong, but the game will kind of guide you towards one way, and the guide you towards the way that seems to be the best for your career. But like, hear what's going on in this IGN video, which I'll also link down in the description below. It just came out a few minutes ago. You are attending Bowman Scout Day. You skip most of the scouting period, and then you skip the 2 games, so you don't get drafted very high. And then for this scenario, they just said all the technically wrong stuff to the Angels, and you ended up having to go back to junior college. So instead of saying like, oh, I want to sign with this team, or oh, I want to go back to school, it kind of is based on your decisions. So you can kind of be super negative towards the GM of the Angels, whoever drafts you. And if you're super negative because you didn't want to get drafted by him, then you can go back, do Bowman Scout Day again, just like last year, but this way it's reflected through your decisions. And I don't know if you still have the option either way, even if you do make the better decisions or the decisions that would help you stay with the team. I don't know if they will still give you the option, like, oh, well, I still want to go back to school. But your decisions definitely play a big role in what happens throughout your career. And they didn't talk about the agent at all, really, but kind of what I expect it to be is a use for your salary. So maybe there's different agents, and like the better ones will cost more money, and so you get a higher salary. That's a benefit to getting a better paying contract, and then you can use the salary you got to get a better agent and possibly get better deals, maybe better just overall a better outcome and better opportunity for your player. I don't know, they didn't really talk about this too much. This is kind of speculation from me. Let me know maybe down in the comments what you want to see from sports agents in the show, and what you think is a possibility for these sports agents. Next up at number 6, we have a totally revamped creative player, and to sum it up, this includes like new emotes, new looks, hairstyles, and facial hair. And to talk about it, there's 22 new facial hair sets, and then there's over 20 new hairstyles, but like the hairstyles, they started from scratch this year. And just overall, the hair and facial hair look so much better. There's so much more different hairstyles and facial hair you can choose from, and it looks a lot more realistic than I would say even in MLB The Show 16. They also added new faces, new skin tones, and the eyeballs, they completely did those from scratch. They didn't look too real in the past, but now eyes look a lot more realistic. And just overall, these changes, the hairstyles, the facial hairs, the new faces, the skin tones, the eyeballs, all of that just adds a lot more realism to the game. And then along with the new hairstyles and stuff for the creative player, you also have new equipment and brands, which you've seen showcased throughout the year. I'm not sure exactly what like the new brands are and new equipment are. A lot of you guys probably know. I've just seen them kind of periodically shown and stuff like that. But I'm excited to see all the new brands of the game. I don't know if they've told us them all. I just know that that's adding more realism to the game. And it's great to see on players the actual brands that they use. Lastly, for the revamped creative player, is kind of the batting stances and home run sequences. So you could have Bryce Harper's batting stance, but then say you wanted Jose Bautista's home run sequence and like what he does around the bases right after he hits a home run, stuff like that. So you can mix and match individual batting stances with home run sequences and stuff like that, all the different animations that go into a batting stance. Last but not least, up 7th, we have a new home screen, and this, it didn't seem like a big detail to me, but overall I think it's gonna be really cool. So instead of being just at like a main menu, you can see the clubhouse in the background, you can see your teammates, and this you're in AA, the one that's shown throughout the video, and you know the couches in the middle are kind of beat up. It's not a great looking locker room. But I think that will change. So like this is the AA locker room. I think the AAA one will be a little bit nicer, and then the MLB one will obviously be the nicest. It will look very professional and just really like an MLB team's clubhouse. So I think that could be awesome. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. Let me know if you did watch the video or read the article, if there was anything that I didn't cover or missed, and I could maybe do a follow-up video just in case there was quite a few things that I missed. I try to cover as much as possible though. Let me know what you guys are looking forward to the most from MLB The Show 17. Personally, for me, it's the Pave Your Path. I'm so excited to see what you're able to do with that, and then also just I'm excited for the future because they said it's not complete. This is like the foundation. I'm just excited for the future and what they have in store for the Pave Your Path and Road to the Show as a whole. But yeah, leave a like if you guys did enjoy the video. Subscribe if you're not already. You guys are awesome. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Turn to